Hmm. Now that you mention it. What's up, guys? I'm Will Punter here, and here we're going to do a breakdown and discussion on whether or not JJK had a happy ending. And I'll be honest with y'all. If y'all were asking me this question 3 months ago, 2 months ago, heck, possibly even a month ago, I probably would have looked at you and laughed. But now, with the final chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen being out, the confirmation that there is no part 2 planned or anything like that, there does seem to be no extra continuations or anything. We may just get some volume extras that maybe wrap up some stuff and give us some extra information. Like, ultimately, we're done with JJK. Gege's done with JJK. We shouldn't really expect any more major info outside maybe like a fan book or something like that. Then maybe like explain and talk about like the Shinjuku Showdown or some more of Gege's different ideas and maybe an interview here or there. JJK's done. So now it's time to start looking back. And I think the best part to look back at is the ending, so we can go backwards in time. So let's talk about it. Editing me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact. I'm able to hold up. Have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Give me another fun fact. Chapter 271 of Jujutsu Kaisen is interesting in like a couple different ways, but interesting in the most interesting way possible, in the sense that it confuses me. Because part of me looks at what this chapter offers, especially on the backs of the last couple chapters, the last 5 chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen, and it makes me sit there and be like, it can't be, not really. Because ultimately, the cycle's over. But not really. Like, not at all. Like, the cycle, in terms of the framework of it, is destroyed, which may lead to the happy ending argument, but at the same time, the cycle of curses and negativity and the whole power system being built on hatred and malice isn't exactly over. So like the big, hefty, juicy overall issues that underlie the entire system of Jujutsu Kaisen are kind of still there, and seemingly no one left alive cares about that. Because remember, Yuki is the only one who wanted to liberate the world from cursed energy, dead. Zagetto, he's been dead since before the series started. But ultimately, another character who cared something about like the way the system was going to work, but admittedly, they weren't really trying to free us from it. They were trying to double down on it. Gone. Kenjaku, Big Jaku, Omega Jaku, unless you take that tease in chapter 270 at face value, or maybe not even face value, you insert more meaning into it, and then you're like, that has to be Kenny. But maybe a powerless Kenny, we just don't know enough, and ultimately there's no continuation, so we're never going to find out. But with that being the case, that was another character who kind of cared about something about the system, gone. And Tengen seemingly is no longer sentient, and obviously Sugita's remains aren't sentient. So we're kind of in this point where the macro sense of JJK is still mostly negative. Nothing's changed. There will always be a continuous stream of curses. Humanity is still very, very negative. In fact, if you argue on the macro sense, things have gotten way worse in spite of the elders being slain and the framework of the Jujutsu cycle, if you were to say it was a bicycle, is shattered. You know, other nations know about cursed energy. And just sent how many people to the slaughter? And now they're probably going to want to have Japan do something about that. And the only people, or really the only person who could have maybe stopped a whole nationwide invasion is stuck in flashback land. Because, you know, he's still in half and kind of riding in an airplane right now. So ultimately, Satoru Gojo is not there to stop, you know, every other nation coming to Japan and being like, hey, here you got this unique form of energy, and we did just send how many? Maybe 100, maybe thousands of our soldiers here to come claim it. And we know it wasn't just, you know, the big one. It's also a bunch of different nations came to invade, linked to the whole military plotline. So technically, Japan's on the radar, and not in a good way. And the cycle of curses is never going to continue. So I guess you could argue that it makes JJK a bittersweet ending in the macro sense, in the same way that technically the Full Metal Alchemist ending is a bittersweet ending in the macro sense. Because ultimately, on the grand scheme of things, not much has changed. The systems of both universes are still fully intact in spite of the great damage and harm they cause. But I'd say it's even worse in JJK's case because the system is literally based on negativity. Like, you actually can't even heal people until you break the system and multiply it against itself, which is still a very rare ability. So Ultimately, macro-wise, is JJK a happy ending? No, not really. A lot of the issues that existed at the start of the series, or even before the series, still exist at the end of the series, and if anything, are exasperated. But other than that, just like the Fullmetal Alchemist ending, and I wouldn't call, well, just like the Fullmetal Alchemist ending, and how I wouldn't call that a bittersweet ending, I call that a happy ending. I think we have to call JJK a happy ending in the grand scheme of things, because let's be real, what did we lose? Like, if we're just looking at the tally, Nanami, randoms, antagonists, and Gojo. And like, let's actually think about that for a little bit. Nanami was lost long before the ending. Like, I think post 100 chapters, but still over 100 chapters ago. Nanami's been gone. That's a part of Shibuya, which is not really associated with the ending of JJK. So we can't really include that. The randoms are randoms, and thusly they don't really matter in terms of us as readers or even in universe. And the antagonists are antagonists, so of course they're gonna die. Of course, we don't know what happened to Uro, but like, Ryu gone. Oh well. I like Ryu. That doesn't really mean I expected him to live that long. We know they're hunting down other reincarnated sorcerers, so that's a little bit rough. But still, that's a thing that's separate from the ending, because we don't know many reincarnated sorcerers out of the few we do know. And, oh yeah. Is that my glorious, amazing, scrumblyumptious four-armed king Big Kuna and Mahito? Yeah, they've been gone. Well, Suguna's just got gone, and Mahito's been gone, but ultimately they are antagonists, unless it is in their nature to go. The only thing that makes the ending bittersweet is the fact that Gojo's gone. Right? Yeah, like, unless you're an absolute top of the line, I will only be happy if Gojo is alive, kind of Gojo fan. Which, admittedly, for a short time I kind of was, but then I took off my blindfold, if you will. He's happy. He was freed by death. Like that's the crazy thing. And notably, I don't like the concept of being freed by death, because I don't think it's really a thing. You get one life, and obviously the concept of the afterlife versus reincarnation versus stagnancy versus the void, like, obviously there's a bunch of weird stuff in JJK. Like, we have no idea how the afterlife system works, if at all. Like, people are hotly debating whether or not Suguna went to, like, the underworld based on, like, the lack of detail in his background, went nowhere, went to the void, is being reincarnated based on his speech. Like, we don't know. I don't know. So it's super duper vague, but even with it being super duper vague, for Gojo's case in particular, he didn't like being alive, kind of, sort of. Because he felt lonely. And the only people he ever cared about were all gone. Except for Shoko, of course, but clearly you can see how, by their very, very, very minimal interactions, that relationship really wasn't a relationship or friendship. Unfortunate. He lost Geto, and he really, really liked Geto. And he really, really missed Geto. He got reunited with Geto in the afterlife. He's happy. All of Gojo's goals, the traditional system of Jujutsu, the cycle that supported the framework of the cursed energy system, destroyed, literally by his own hands, while his students watched. Because they didn't want him to be alone. And that's what Satoru Gojo didn't want in the first place. He didn't want to be alone because he's a human being, a naturally social creature. And top that off with the idea that there are characters upholding his legacy, very specifically Yuji Todori is out here counting on it, expecting great things from it. Yeah, even he's happy in the end, and all characters associated with him are, kind of happy. He's not happy he's gone in a sense, but they're happy in spite of him being gone. It doesn't hold them back. If anything, it inspires them to do better, inspires them to do greater, inspires them to do more and be more. So Gojo's happy, and the cast and crew is fine with him being gone. It's to the point where I can kind of understand why Gege didn't bother showing his funeral, because it doesn't really matter. Because just like how technically, even though Gojo died in chapter 236 and has been dead for over a year at this point, in the manga up until its end, in the end, the spirit of Satoru Gojo, the story of Satoru Gojo, the ideological battle of Satoru Gojo never ended. And he did win in the end, because that future he bet on with his position as the strongest of the modern day, bada bing, bada boom, he beat Suguna. So he won the ideological battle, he got exactly what he wanted on his personal character level, he got exactly what he wanted on an interpersonal character level, and everyone else is living with his memory just fine. They're carrying him with them. So Gojo gets a happy ending. It's a twisted happy ending, of course, and once again, I do not believe that death is a happy release. I don't personally believe it, but specifically for Gojo's case it is.
And if that's the case, Gojo's happy even though he's gone. So that's the big major thing about the ending that I've seen a lot of people complain about. But then what's left? Everyone else is alive. Like, you might be looking at me crazy, but everyone else lived. And lived. Like, we have our main trio back. Itadori is smiling. Megumi is indifferent, but he was smiling a few chapters back. Nabar is mostly indifferent here, but she's smiling. She's happy and alive. Of course, she's missing an eyeball, but hey, aren't we all? Okay, yeah, we obviously all aren't. But still, she's happy. She's with her friends. She's reunited. And she's liberated from the information that was apparently holding her down, but kind of not sort of. Once again, I feel like that whole letter situation from a few chapters back was weird, but that's a me thing. Personally, I see a lot of people like the letter scenario. Still no. But that aside, they're happy. Hakari, he looks annoyed, but Kirara is happy. And they're both re-enlisted as Jujutsu sorcerers, and they're connecting with their younger student counterparts. That's great. They're happy. And who knows? While the Zenin clan is absolutely decimated and will not be able to help him start up his gambling ring, considering the framework of the Jujutsu system is done, his main goal, his main intent, his main reason for joining the Culling Games and putting his life on the line was technically now an option. He could open up that ring. Who gonna stop him? Not the higher-ups. Who gonna stop him? Kusakabe? Mei? Come on, now he's good. I don't know why he's like mean mugging here though, but it's just Akari Kinji. He likes the mean mug. And then look at this. Maki, once again, mean mugging is just Maki mean mugging. But Yuta, happy. Though I still don't get why he has those darn stitches on his head. They should have healed at this point. But Yuta, happy. This thing. Hold on. Panda. Disgusting. But it's happy. Inumaki, he has his mouth covered, but he's likely chilling and or vibing. Higuruma, we don't see him in this chapter, but he's alive. Everyone's alive. Everyone's moving forward. Even in death, characters who have the potential to, are moving forward in a sense. Ryomen Sukuna says, no, that's wrong. I could have chosen how to live. I had two choices, but I had to vomit out the curse writhing in my entrails. I was afraid of immolation by my own curse. If there's a next time, maybe I'll change how I live. But that's boring! You're gonna settle down? Of course. After all, I lost. So, even Suguna gets a happy ending. Admittedly, he's presumably going straight into the underworld, if there is an underworld. Once again, Toji was in heaven, y'all. I'm not saying Suguna and Toji are at all comparable in terms of like the crimes they committed, but like Toji, like we were all there for what Toji did, and apparently he did much worse. Like he was out of practice and in retirement when Kong called him up and was like, hey yo bro, can you come get this vessel for me? And Toji was like, yeah bro, I can come get this vessel for you. So Toji, he'd been bad, but he was still at the airport. He was still in heaven and or purgatory, wherever you want to call that place. So Sukuna, I wouldn't be shocked if even he's just going straight to an airport. The Heian equivalent to an airport. What is the Heian equivalent to an airport? I want to say a train station, but were there trains 1,000 years ago? When were trains invented? 1802. There were definitely trains. So he made, literally, ironically enough, considering you use the name, Sukuna may have went to a train station, the great old train station in the sky. So even Sukuna gets a happy ending. I mean, I guess you could say Mahito doesn't get a happy ending, but hey, as a massive Mahito meat muncher here, I'm happy he doesn't. I'm happy that he fits the narrative that he himself assigned to himself. The idea that he's a curse, and absolutely curses are not humans, and unlike humans, they do not have the capacity to change. So ultimately, while Megumi's the only unruly child Megumi, wrong name. Mahito's the only unruly child left, that fits. It fits that he's stuck as the one character who actually didn't get to move on, because he's literally biologically incapable of moving on. So if every single character is happy or okay with what happened to them, and either has potential for insane growth, more connections, more time within this twisted system, then bada bing, bada boom, everyone's happy. Even the darn random name. This guy doesn't get a name, does he? I'm the one who brought you that back. Whatever. Yeah, this guy doesn't even get a name, and even he gets hope for a happy future, a happy conclusion, a happy life. It's all there. The possibilities are literally endless. I was about to break into Sonic Unleashed. I was going to start singing right then and there. But that's the thing. Sure, is the JJK ending open? Is there like a billion different ways you could write things going calamitous? Oh, Sukuna is now the basis for all the barriers in Japan, meaning all of his lingering negative resentment and negative energy that was forged in those fingers in the remains of Sukuna is now soaking through Japan, and now, ooh, that's going to cause crazy mutations, stuff like that, darkness. Oh, the entire world is about cursed energy. They could all flood in and then destroy everything. Oh, like, yeah, it's all there. The groundwork's laid there. Who knows? Kenjaku's back through Takaba's means, and he's going to manipulate Takaba and his reality warping power to come destroy the world. Yeah, he could do that. But as it is, what we got and what will always be, without fan fiction, theory crafting, and whatever else, it's happy. It is a happy ending in the plainest sense. Every single character is fulfilled, except for the one character who literally can't be fulfilled. Every single protagonist is alive and happy, except for the one character, the one protagonist who wanted to die to someone stronger than them. And that they got. Even Arame gets reunited with Sukuna, which is something I really wasn't expecting. Everyone's happy, from our main antagonist to our main protagonist to the side characters to everyone, and that's a happy ending. But of course, that's the micro sense versus the macro sense. But honestly, hate to say it, JJK was never about the macro sense. Kenny tried to make it about the macro sense. Yuki tried to make it about the macro sense. Geto tried to make it about the macro sense, but it was never that deep. At least, I don't think Gege ever wanted to write a narrative that deep. It's why the merger was never going to happen. It's why Geto's plan was never going to work. It's why Yuki's plan was never focused on. Why she as a character was never focused on. Because ultimately it didn't matter. Because JJK is a story about people. And how people interact in a twisted system of things. It's heavily based on a certain belief system where all the domain hand signs come from, and so on and so forth. It's very wrapped up in this idea that the world is a system of suffering, but ultimately what you must do is hold that suffering in you and overcome it. And that's what our characters managed to do. Some of them literally held the suffering of Ryoben Sukuna inside them and overcame it. Satoru Gojo held suffering inside him and overcame it in a unique way by investing in the future, and ended up getting a non-unique way of letting go of that suffering by reaching a heavenly realm, a higher place with those he genuinely cared for. Yuji Itadori is a man free of the burdens, now focused on the future, fingers left behind. So JJK does have a happy ending, and a happy ending on a scale that matters for the macro, while larger, is infinitely less interesting and less important than the micro. So JJK's happy ending is earned, in my opinion. I'll admit, though, it's still a surprise. But, of course, that's what I think. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think I'm absolutely crazy, nuts, buku bonkers? I have no idea what I'm talking about, and this isn't a happy ending. In fact, it's surprising for this, and that. Please let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys think I'm right, though, yeah. But regardless, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave 3 fingers. Like just that, like 3 fingers. That's all you just got left on that one hand. Leave 3 fingers in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do, I'm going to have a Patreon down below, where you support me for as low as $1 things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks will include the live reaction to this very chapter, ad-free variations of all my videos, and to become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can also order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much that's not a pencil. I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Sierra, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Red Wolf 4765, Paris Arnold, Astro, Brandon Payne, and G Prosper. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, Josh Brown, Igneal Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $7 members: Autumn Mornings Lazo, Fine, Zombie Hunter, and Austin Wimberly. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 members: Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 patrons: Overlord Zero, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami.
And I'd like to give the craziest, juiciest, most next level, quadruple swalloppy, toppy, next level superhuman in beyond this world kidney having thank you to our $100 patron, or that guy with a pencil tier patron, Calvin Elder.